Couple of minutes, guys. We're going to get started. Just waiting for some more people to come in. All right, guys, let's get started. Hey, good morning, KW superstars. Joe Kozo, team leader at KW Montgomery. Listen, these sessions have been awesome. They've been awesome so far. The ones I've been involved, some of the people teaching some of these classes, it's just unbelievable. So we got a great session today, an awesome session. If you've ever been given an objection at a listing table and you didn't know how to handle it, I'll tell you, this is the place to handle it today. We have 3 superstars, actually 4 superstars, talking about how they handle various objections. I came up with as many as 18 different objections that some of them I've received over the past years, some of them other agents have received over the past years. Some of them are basically next to impossible to overcome, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. So a couple housekeeping things for you guys. The screen is only going to show the people that are going to be handling the objections. The process is going to be relatively simple. So we're going to explain that in a little bit. What I'm going to do is kind of go through a little bit the step-by-step process. Here's what I want you guys to understand from a housekeeping standpoint. There's going to be a raffle offered by our vendor, Sean Tierney of Turnkey Home Inspections, okay? So if you want to be in a raffle, you need to go to the chat area, okay, in the chat at the very bottom of your screen, and you need to private message just Sean Tierney, that's Tierney. And what Sean's going to do is he's going to put together the list of those people that are interested in the raffle, and then he's going to come back to us in about an hour and 25 minutes or so with a winner of that raffle. And that's going to be a free home inspection for one of your clients, one of your buyer clients. Or it could be even a pre-inspection if you're looking at that from that standpoint. I'm also going to suggest to you guys in a Q&A, if you do have questions for the panels, we're going to handle questions at the very end. If it's a question that seems that really pertains and needs to be answered right there, please type in a Q&A. Annie, my director of technology, is right next to me. She's going to help me out with those Q&As. But use the Q&A only for questions. If you have an objection that we didn't discuss here, then by all means, type in that objection. If we have about 10, 12 minutes left at the very end, what we'll do is we'll simply go ahead and we'll rifle that objection off to our panelists and see how they respond to that objection, okay? So we'll go through that process. I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quick. Like I said, I have about 18 objections. I figured if we take 3 to 5 minutes on every objection and how to handle it, that'd be a good way for you guys to understand how the process is. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to come in each presentation as I'm going to use one of our panelists, and that panelist is going to pretend she just finished making your listing presentation, and she's going to give me that final close, whatever that final close might be, okay? And then I'm going to say to that panelist, well, that's going to be objection. It's going to be one of those 18 objections that I get. And we're going to see how each one of those panelists handle it. Then what we're going to do is after that one objection, we're going to go to the other 2 panelists and ask them the question, is there anything that you would add to that? Say something differently. How would that work for that way? That way you get a good feel of 4 top agents talking about here's how they handle that objection. Like I said to you guys, if you do get an objection that's not in our list of 18, which is possible, then by all means, put it in a Q&A. We'll look at addressing that later, okay? Finally, for that too, if there are questions outside of that, please put them in a Q&A as well, and we'll work on those as we go too. So that being said, I want to start out by basically introducing our vendor, who's basically helping sponsor this event. It's Sean Tierney from Turnkey Home Inspection. I've known Sean for quite some time, and quite frankly, to give Sean a plug real quick, I just closed on a property not too long ago. Sean did an amazing home inspection for me, okay? My daughter closed the property a little year and a half ago, did an amazing inspection for my daughter and her fiance. So I've known Sean for quite some time. He's an awesome agent, or I'm sorry, awesome home inspector here too. So let me give a little bio about Sean. Sean holds over 25 years of experience as a licensed contractor, home builder, and commercial inspector in the state of New Jersey. He's witnessed firsthand many reasons why home inspectors are important as a qualified hands-on inspection, and how important that is to the inspection process, okay? He provides an honest evaluation of your property condition. He prides himself in basically being honest and fair with all the customers that he deals with. He has a specialty background in how his relationship with the building inspection part of this benefits him. He's done home inspections, commercial inspections, septic inspections, tank sweeps, and more. You get nothing but quality with Sean. So Sean, we're going to give you 3, 4, 5 minutes if you want to just kind of talk about what you do at Turnkey. And I want to thank you again for being one of our vendors here. Sean, the floor is yours.
Awesome, Joe. And just like to say thanks for having me a part of the offering today. Really excited to be here. As a home inspector, I get to meet quite a few different folks. And over the years, I've really tried to tailor my services to not only provide a quality service, but also to help add value. As most of you guys know, I do not do any type of advertising. It's purely word of mouth and referral. So I try to allow my process speak for itself. But really, at the end of the day, to be able to provide value to your clients, I really try to go above and beyond. And I always think about your client as our client. And when I arrive, I try to arrive early. I arrive uniformed in a lettered vehicle, ready to go with all my tools and paperwork, to start the process as soon as I arrive. As you mentioned, I have hands-on experience in the construction world. I've been doing commercial inspections a lot longer, actually, than I've been doing residential. I have an electrical engineering degree. That's my background. My forte was electromechanical, so I'm really at home and comfortable with electrical systems, HVAC, plumbing, and those sorts of systems in the house, which are always of concern to the client. When we're going through a thorough process, as a thorough home inspector does, we always uncover quite a few different things, and not every house is perfect. So I try to really explain to the client when we debrief at the end of a home inspection, everything that I found, and try to put it into perspective so that they don't become alarmed in the types of things that I found. And following up with that, I also make myself available to the client at any time after the inspection report has been issued. So whether that be the day after they get the report, the day of closing, or 2 years down the road, something happens, they don't know who to call, they're not necessarily sure if it's something that they need to be concerned with. I'm always available as a resource the entire time that they own their new home. Turnkey inspection services, I'm a full service, full-time inspector. Aside from providing home inspections, I also do radon, wood destroying insect, tank sweeps, septic inspections, indoor air quality inspections, sewer line inspections, utility locating. So there's a number of ancillary services that I provide, all which are done at the same time as the home inspection. So it makes it for a quality experience, not only for the realtor's time, but for your client as well. One of the last things that I do to try to provide value is I use the pickup service through RA Data, the radon lab that I use. Nice thing about those folks is they have a super key. And what that means is they'll go ahead and get permission to enter the property to retrieve the radon cans, so that this way the realtor doesn't have to meet me back out on site to provide access. So it really makes things go very efficiently. That's about all I got for you.
Too, Sean, what I would say about you too is that you're definitely not an alarmist. You're honest with people, and you have very good bedside manner, if you want to do that. Let's call it house side manner, if you will. Very good house side manner. And not to mention, I know you're very responsive to further questions down the road. And you're really open to that, which is really important. It's not like do inspection, go away, never see me again type of thing. So I would encourage everybody to talk to Sean. Sean's information is going to be put into the chat area, Annie, I guess. But again, Sean's going to do a raffle at the very end. He's going to, if you have any, and want to enter the raffle, go ahead and put in the chat a private message Sean himself, and then basically Sean's going to go through that. And he's going to pick a raffle winner for the free home inspection too. So Sean, I want to thank you very much for this, and we'll get you back in here in about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Okay.
Absolutely, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sean. Yep. Bye-bye. Awesome. So that being said, let me introduce our panelists, and thank you again to Sean too. This is awesome that we have all these vendors helping us out, running a fantastic session here too. So honestly, guys, I've spoke with all four of these panelists, and you're not going to get any better people than these guys right here. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm going to go through a little bio. We're going to pull them in each one at a time, bring up their video. And basically, after we do that, they're going to say a little bit about themselves and maybe about what they do in reference to handling objections. After we get through the groups, then we're going to go ahead into handling the first objection. So the first person I want to interview is Kristen Cook. Kristen Cook is a top producing agent at KW Team Realty, achieving the Circle of Excellence consistently since 2014. And she's been a co-host of HGTV show Scoring the Deal with Jason Abrams. Kristen's primary focus is Northern New Jersey. In addition, she is nationally recognized agent who has constructed an A-list roster of clientele, including athletes, business executives, and celebrities. So let's get Kristen Cook up and let's talk to Kristen.
Hi, guys.
Okay, you want to get the video up there, Kristen? Let's see, we're working on that.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Awesome, awesome. Kristen, so talk to us about yourself a little bit and really about objection handling.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. With respect to receiving objections, I don't believe that I sort of take that typical KW real estate role. I don't use scripts, believe it or not. So the equation to my scripts are the following three things, basically: logic, authenticity, and empathy. Those are the three components, I believe, that make me a good human being. And I think they also are the three components that make me a fairly successful realtor. So if you honor those three things, I don't think it really matters what you say. It's always, basically the truth. And I think that's sort of better than a script. People want to, someone that they can trust above all else. So that's sort of the way that I handle objections throughout my career, quite frankly.
That's great. Great. Well, thank you, Kristen. I think as we go through this process, the benefit that our audience has is they can see how everybody handles them a little bit differently too. So yep. Thank you for that too. So good.
Absolutely.
Good. Let me introduce our next team. It's Pinky and Deepak Bansal. Pinky and Deepak are basically a husband and wife team. They've been in industry for over 10 years. They're one of the top producing agent teams in our area, serving Somerset, Middlesex, and Hunterdon counties. They were a recipient of the 2019 Circle of Excellence Gold Award and various other industry awards. On their downtime, they loved spending time with their family and very close by their friends, and they loved to camp, mountain biking, and traveling. So Pinky and Deepak, welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do and how you handle an objection?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We're so excited to be here. Objections, it's like, as Kristen said, it's really about be very natural when you meet, just be very empathic, as she said. So don't feel like, never be very scripty. So when you're scripty, it sounds very salesy. So if you're very natural, just be there, take a deep breath, try to validate, make them feel that how they're feeling, try to validate what they're saying. And that's it. And if it's really an objection, repeat it. And so that they repeat in a very short form, that's what I do. And that's it, just and try to know that if it's really an objection or a condition. That's it.
Just be yourself. I would say just be yourself. If you don't know, just tell them, I don't know about the specific thing that you're asking, and you will find out.
That's anything you don't know.
In our office, it's a team approach. It's everybody's helping to sell their homes. Keller Williams is such a great company that we are helping each other. So it's not just a one-man show. It's a team approach.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And the theme seems to be right now, be yourself. And I will tell you my history of doing this for 26 years, people can see through insincere people really easy. So you need to be sincere, you need to be honest. And in our industry, it doesn't bode too well that we're honest people, but quite frankly, the outstanding real estate agents like you guys, it does show up that way too. So let me introduce our finalist panelist here, John Carlo Cassio. John Carlo, he started his career in the financial sector. He's excelled at every level in his real estate career to date. He's venturing From award-winning sales associate to successful broker manager, overseeing hundreds of agents who conduct over 200 million in sales annually. He's now conducting a business as a co-founder of the Radius Realty Group at KW, where his true passion lies. He loves assisting buyers and sellers achieving their dreams, and he is dedicated to his clients in an unmatched way in our industry too. So Giancarlo, I want to welcome you. If you want to say something about yourself and how you handle objections.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. So kind of just the same as everybody else has been saying so far, just really being empathetic, understanding it. This is the biggest asset that most people will have. So you have to kind of engage them. I feel asking more questions and probing and getting to the bottom line of really what their concerns are is most important. And at the end of the day, I'm big on making sure I practice being confident. If you come across confident and as an expert in the field, they're going to really appreciate that a lot more.
Oh, that's great. Asking questions, probing for the right answer, basically being confident, being yourself, just basic characteristics, guys, basic characteristics. So I can tell you just from my standpoint of handling objections, I've always found this in handling an objection. I think most real estate agents are afraid to get to a no. They're afraid to get to a no. They don't even get to the point of getting a yes. And there's two ways to go and handle an objection, two results that you're looking for. You want an instant yes, which then go out in the parking lot and do a happy dance because you got a yes. Okay, good for you guys. Okay. And that happens from time to time. And often it happens with family members and friends because that's almost a slam dunk for you too. So, but often you should be getting a no. And if you're not getting enough no's, I say this, is that if you're not getting enough no's, you're not in a competitive market enough in real estate transactions from a listing standpoint. You need to get to a no, and you need to be proud to get to a no. So when I sat at a listing table, when I got to a yes, I was doing a happy dance. When I got to a no, I was like, great, this is an opportunity. No takes me down the street of saying, there's an objection there. Don't be afraid to get the objection. I think the problem gets to be is most real estate agents are afraid to get the objection because they don't know how to handle the objection. What happens if they say this and I go, hum? Well, yeah, it doesn't bode well. So how you practice that is how it's going to make you a better real estate agent to get that objection. I'm also going to say this to you guys. Not every objection can you handle. You're just not going to be able to handle every objection. It just doesn't work out that way. There's some of them you just can't overcome. And that's okay too. At least you know that you had a yes, a solid yes, or a solid no. It's simple as that too. And sometimes an objection is not an objection. It's more a deflection or more of a stall. They're just not ready to make a decision quite yet. So they throw something out there at you to get you to walk out the door. But I'm telling you right now, if you handle an objection in an effective way, in an effective manner, it'll make all the difference in you walking away with a listing or not walking away with a listing. Okay. And really for handling objection, I say this, you get them to say no, handle it. At least when you leave there, if you don't get it, you feel like you've done your job. But if you just close up your book or your presentation, just walk out the door and say, call me when you're ready, I will tell you, statistically speaking, and I got no stats on this. This is just Joe Kozo, 26 years of experience. 75% of the time, you will not get that listing. Time is not your ally in this business. A day goes by, 2 days goes by. Guess what? They run into a friend of theirs that knows another realtor from XYZ company, whatever, and you lose that opportunity. So I would tell you this, get to the listing table, go for the close, be a great closer, take the objection, handle the objection, and move forward. Simple as that. So that being said, we're going to start with Kristen. Kristen, I'm sorry, but you were the first one to roll the dice and you got picked first. Okay. So okay. As I said earlier to you guys, Kristen's going to give me, she just made her presentation. She's going to give me her final close, whatever it's going to be, how simple it might be. I'm going to throw an objection to Kristen, and Kristen's going to go ahead and handle an objection. So floor is yours, Kristen.
Okay, great, Joe. So sounds good. Let's get these listing documents signed so that I can get your house sold for you.
Kristen, that was a nice presentation. Thank you very much. It doesn't seem like you sell too many homes in our area, and you don't sell too much in our price range in our area as well. I'm a little concerned about that.
Okay, let me provide you with a little more of my background, and I'm confident that will ease your mind. So I've been licensed, Joe, for over 11 years now. I sell homes nationwide. So my focus for the past 7 years has been selling primarily in Northern New Jersey. But again, I sell homes throughout the United States. I do not believe that it's about location. Selling real estate is about the processes. It's about my industry knowledge. It's about my broker, agent, affiliate relationships. It's about performing due diligence. It's about market research. And it's about my commitment. I feel as though, throughout obviously my presentation, I've kind of touched on all of those things.
You did.
And them down so that you were sort of more aware of what specifically that all involves and encompasses. To address the price range concern, I have sold homes, bank-owned properties that cost $10,000, and I've sold individual homes that were listed and sold for $20 million, and everything in between. I work with REOs, I work with athletes, I work with the elite, I work with first-time home buyers, I work with families downsizing, I work with families splitting up. It runs the gamut with respect to what I cover. So if you want to sell your house, I'm the agent with a wide reach who's committing to do so. That clarifies it. Are you prepared to move forward at this point?
And I understand the price range too, Kristen. I understand that you did sell homes in different price ranges. I'm feeling more comfortable that way, Kristen. But you said it's I always heard real estate's a local market type of thing. And, I really want someone that's going to be able to connect with the other real estate agents in our local market. I mean, what can you do for me for that? Because that's probably my number one concern.
100%. I don't disagree. And with respect to that, I have relationships with many agents within the local market. I have obviously done extensive research, and prior to even meeting with you, to sort of determine what things are most crucial to buyers, things such as the commute, the school rankings, the closest grocery store. So I am fully prepared and confident that I can sell your home.
Okay. So you're telling me that even though you don't do a lot in my market area, you still have the knowledge and experience of what an agent in my market area has.
Correct. And the relationships with local brokers. However, it's not always a local broker who's going to be the one bringing your buyer. I'm diversified with respect that I have a much wider reach.
That's interesting. So what you're telling me, Kristen, that you're able to maybe bring in buyers from outside the area here that maybe I'm not getting by a local agent? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely. Because of the relationships that I have, the connections that I have, the contacts that I have, I am absolutely able to bring you buyers that the local agents may not have the connections to do.
That makes better sense, Kristen. And you told me that you did sell in a variety of different price ranges, different areas too. So I'll tell you what, listen, let's move ahead with things. Does that sound good?
Terrific. Sounds great. I look forward to selling your house for you.
Great. All right, break script a little bit. Let's go to Pinky and Deepak. Great job, Kristen, by the way. Great job on that. So, Pinky and Deepak, is there anything that you want to consider adding to that or say differently in reference to that?
No, whatever Kristen covered there was really good. Relationships are important. I would add to that is, I would go for the track record. You have to look at the agent who you are hiring, their track record. It is not about the local market. With the internet and technology, we are in the global economy. Nobody can predict what the next buyer is going to come from. What matters is the exposure that we can bring it to your home. And 70-80% of the times we have seen people from outside agents who are bringing the buyers. So it really does not matter if they live next door or they live, in the close proximity. It is the exposure and the track record that matters most to you. So what I would say is, hire the best agent and to get you to the most amount of money in your pocket.
So it's a history of success or results.
History of success, history of systems that we put in work for you, and we have a team approach. So that is what we bring it to the table.
Awesome. John Carlo, would you add anything to Kristen's way of handling an objection?
I think she did a good job and definitely has a good track record. I did see a question come in about newer agents, and I would just kind of preface, lean on the success of the office and the team as a whole. One of the reasons that you do join KW or a company like us is for the exposure and the recognition that comes along with it. So if you don't have that personal experience, you can use that as leverage for yourselves. In our current market area, another thing too, a lot of our buyers are coming from New York City. being able to say that we have the exposure with online syndication and reaching them that way, I think is going over a long way right now, because a lot of our buyers are coming from the New York City area.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you for answering a question for me, John Carl. I was going to pose it to you guys, but you just took my job away from me. I'm going to go back and play golf. Is that okay? No, I'm just kidding. So awesome. Thank you, guys. That was great on the first objection. I love that too. And I tell you, that's some great responses to that track record, being honest, being sincere with people, going through what you've done in the past. And the way I saw Kristen handle it is, it wasn't like, oh my goodness, it was handle it calm and cool, and that's important too. So great job, Kristen. Great job, you guys. Okay, let's go to the second question. This is going to Pinky and Deepak. So Pinky and Deepak, we just finished up your listing presentation. Give me your quick close, and let's go to the objection I'm going to give you.
So Joe, everything sounds good. Can we go ahead with the paperwork?
You know, Pinky, Deepak, you guys did a great job in your presentation, but I'll be honest with you. It looks like you guys are way too busy and you have too many listings. I'm really looking for an agent that can give me the time that I truly deserve in getting my home marketed and sold.
Joe, I can totally appreciate that you saw that we have so many listings, and I'm glad that you're looking for an agent who gives you the attention you deserve, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Let me explain you how does that work in your favor. Can I explain?
Sure.
You know, the more listings we have, the more buyers, the more signs we have on the street. And the more signs we have on the street, the more calls we get from the buyers, right? And the more buyers calls we get, you know, that way I can direct those calls to get your home sold. You know, if you were a buyer, would you rather work with an agent who has 2 or 3 listings, or would you rather work with an agent who has 50 listings in the market?
To answer the question, Piggy, I want an agent I can communicate with on a regular basis. I don't want an agent that doesn't respond to me in 5 days. So.
Oh, definitely. I totally understand your concern that you want a top-notch communication, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes, and that's what we do. Our accurate feedback and accurate timeline communication to get our home sold, because communication is a top priority, you know. So to answer your question, can you see the advantage of having a listing agent on your side to represent who has many listings with top-notch team and so many signs working for you? Does that make sense, Joe?
It does make sense, Pinky, Deepak. I do understand that there's value in you having a lot of listings, but talk to me about how you're going to communicate with me. What's the schedule on it? Because again, you could tell me that, but if I call you and it's 5 days later, I get a response, I'm not going to be happy. I'm just looking for I want to be your #1 client. That's what I want to be.
You will be #1 client in terms of communication, whatever way of communication you want. We have a turnaround of 12 hours. We will respond to you if you like a phone call or a email or text message. And we have a team of people. If it needs just a signature, I would have, my team member reach out to you, have your signature. If it's something critical negotiations, we are going in the transaction, I am on top of it. We are communicating to you probably more than you like. And it is your choice how you want us to communicate to you. So
it's better for you, like a text, email, or a phone call.
I'm all about texting. Texting is easier for me too. So, but let me ask you this: you're a team, you have other people, your team. Am I going to talk to you, or are you going to talk to some part-time admin staff person?
No, you will be talking directly to us.
Okay. So
or with the text that you prefer. That's
a commitment you're going to give me?
Yes, definitely. It's a written commitment, and we will have a group text that we can draft for you. So if ever you have a question, we are either a call away, and you can always text us.
Okay, awesome. Because I work a lot of hours, and sometimes I'm not available during the course of the day, but are you okay picking up a call at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night?
That's a good question. We also have a family, and Joe, so after 7 p.m., unless until it's like a really, really emergency situation, yes, you can call us at 9:30. But if it is something that can wait till the next day, we would, we will appreciate if you can respect our privacy as well.
Deepak, Pinky, I have to respect that. I'm a family person too. So with that being said, let's go ahead. What do I have to do? Let's move this thing forward.
Yeah, we just need your approval on these papers so we can go ahead and list your property and help you sell this.
Yes.
Awesome. Great job, guys. Great job too. So Giancarlo, would you add anything to that, or would you say anything differently?
No, I think they did a great job. I'm kind of the same format. I like to ask open-ended questions and kind of let sellers come to their own conclusion. I think when it comes and they hear it themselves, it's a little bit more natural and it resonates a little bit more. So they did a great job of asking you questions to kind of probe to that.
Yeah.
Also setting the expectation and the boundary, they did a great job. A lot of people take advantage of us if we allow them to. So kind of telling them, no, this is our downtime. You set that proper expectation as well, too, that you respect yourself.
Giancarlo, I don't understand. Buyers and seller clients take advantage of us? I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard that.
No, never happens.
You must be making this up. I don't know what kind of world you're living in over there, you know. So with that is true. That is true too. So awesome on that too. Kristen, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did an excellent job. I think the only thing I may add is a little bit more of that direct honesty with telling them that, look, your track record speaks for itself, and you wouldn't have these listings and you wouldn't be here on this listing presentation if you weren't able to, you know, give the attention that it needed in order to do your job. And maybe just being direct and letting them know that, you know, that brutal honesty of I wouldn't be here willing to take on this listing and wanting to sell your home if I wasn't capable of doing so. And I certainly am. And that means me providing the time, the energy, the effort, and so on and so forth into it.
Yeah, that's great. You know, one of the things I too like to expand upon what Giancarlo said is that they ask probing questions and then they close me. They do little trial closes. Would that be okay? You know, and those things get me to nod my head. They say yes, and that's closer to a sign here type of thing. I'd never sign here, approve here type of thing. But so that was a great job with that too. And I love the fact that you're patient about it. Yeah, ask the questions, and like Giancarlo was saying, is that you got me to the point of just, you know, finding out more what's most important to me. And my thing was, I just don't want to be ignored. I don't want to be ignored. I want to be your top client, and you kind of made me feel comfortable with that too. So great job, guys. Great job too. So Giancarlo, we saved number 3 for you, which is always the question that almost everybody gets in every listing presentation you've ever been at. Okay, so, and if you've never gotten this listing objection before, then you ain't on enough listing appointments. Okay, so Giancarlo, go ahead. You just made your presentation. Close me.
Sure. Joe, great. Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me. I have the paperwork here with me so we can move forward. Let's get this signed and get the listing going.
Yeah, that's great, John. And I loved your presentation, everything you have about marketing, everything else. You know, I'm a little concerned though. I don't feel I really need to pay 6% commission. That seems kind of high to me.
Okay, I can respect that, and I just want to preface that and be upfront and honest and say, you know, this is my standard I usually go for. And you just said that you did like the marketing plan, correct?
I did like the marketing plan, yes.
Okay, so going over that, I want to show you how we're going to maximize your return. You said your goal at the end of the day on this was to net the most by selling your home, correct?
Absolutely. I want to put as much in my pocket as I can, Giancarlo. Okay, simple.
Okay, and would you agree that all the marketing I showed you would definitely get you enough exposure to maximize what you would get on your home?
It was actually a little bit more than I expected to be honest with you. It was, I didn't know that all that stuff was available to me to have my property market. Yes, it was.
Great. I'm glad you definitely liked it. So with that comes the ability to have to spend some money in order to net you the most. So all the marketing service that we offer to you are kind of unique. Not everybody would offer it. Also, too, when it comes time to negotiate on your home, you said this is the biggest asset that you currently have, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So where would I be if I start negotiating what I do for a living right now for myself? When it comes time to negotiate your house, wouldn't you want somebody who's going to be on your side and make sure that you net the most for your home?
You know, that's a valid point, Giancarlo. I mean, that is a valid point. But you're telling me this now. Is there a way you could prove that to me?
Yeah, I mean, we went over my stats. I showed you what my sale price to list price ratio is. It's 2% above what the rest of the market is. So if you did go with me, you still would be netting more money based off the exposure that we get and the marketing that we do for your home.
So all that marketing is going to cost me a little bit more money, but you're telling me you could put more money in my pocket. So it's really not about the commission. Is that what I'm hearing? It's about what you net?
Correct. You want to make sure that you're maximizing exposure to get the most seats into your home. Hopefully we can get you multiple offers and have a bunch of them to choose from. And that's when it comes time to negotiate and get the best terms and net you the most money for your home.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that, Giancarlo. I mean, you're kind of telling me, you're talking sense to me here too. But let me ask you, can we take a couple things out of that marketing and maybe save me 0.5% somewhere in there?
So we just said it's your biggest asset, and in order to maximize that return, if we go a few $100s to $1,000 and it cost you maybe another $5,000-$10,000 because of exposure, would it be worth it to you when it came time to sell your house?
Yeah, I get that too. Well, would you do it at 5.5%?
I really want to do it 6%, and the reason why, you want to entice people to also show your home. We're cooperating with every brokerage on the MLS, and we're going to be splitting that money equally. So we want to give everybody the maximum exposure and want to show your home.
So you're saying to me, by offering more money to the other side, you have a better chance of getting a buyer. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, think about it this way. If you get paid one amount to do your job or more, but it's the same job, which one would you want to do more? The one that would pay you more?
Obviously.
So our goal is to maximize exposure and get the most amount of people into your home and net you the most. I can guarantee, based off of our track record, like we said, with our sale price to list price ratio, that going with us and paying 6%, you still will net more money than if you weren't with us.
Awesome. Giancarlo, let's move forward.
Sounds good. Great.
Good. Great job. I'll be honest with you. I almost wanted to hug you through the internet Zoom thing here. Okay. You don't know anything about Joe Kozo too much, but I'm a 6% guy across the board. Okay. And I'll tell you, when we're done with this, I'll tell you a quick story. So,
okay.
Kristen, you want to elaborate off of that?
I mean, that was phenomenal. So I really, there's not much more I can say. The only thing that I would say is, after all of that, if the seller still doesn't agree to pay 6%, quite frankly, I think as realtors, we should be comfortable making the decision that maybe this isn't the client for us. Because that was phenomenal.
Thank you.
That's a great point. You know what? When you guys are in a position, you're on listing appointments time in and time again, you could pick and choose what you want. So
and that just, sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but to me, that was so clearly defining the value, and so in obviously hiring him. And if the seller doesn't see that, then yeah, like I said, it may not be the right fit.
Yeah.
Great.
Pinky Deepak, you want to elaborate off of that?
I think he did a great job in handling. He touched upon every single point. I just want to say one thing. What I learned from you is, like, when you started, you said it's a standard. So Joe taught me never say that standard, because it's always negotiable, right? So make them feel that that they're validated. It's a valid concern. Of course, they're looking to save money, right? And that's the, I think I hear from everyone on the listing presentation, most of them. So first, how I try to isolate them, because that is this the only thing stopping you from going forward tonight. So isolate them, because by doing so, that then you're only handling the commission part. Because then what Joe did, he brought up the marketing again later. So then you're only talking about the commission or the brokerage fees. So then, because what happened later, then first he was talking about commission, and then he bought, hey, can you cut the marketing? So now you're handling again the marketing. So it's another whole kind of presentation that you're kind of handling. So, and when he asked about cutting the marketing, so then you can say that, hey, so do you mean cutting corners, which I don't know where your buyers, which mode the buyers might come from. So that's the only thing how we handle. I never say it's a standard.
And that's a personal preference from agent to agent on it too.
Yeah.
I will tell you, your point in reference to drill it down, or just get down to the point of saying, is that the only thing stopping you from giving me the opportunity to market and sell your property today? Then you narrow it down to that one objection. Because very often, guys, what happens, you get an objection, you handle it, and you think you're done, and all of a sudden another one throws out there. But when you can put it in their head, that's the last thing, the only thing that's going to stand between you and that listing. Then you get to the point they say, okay, now sometimes they'll still throw, well, what about blah, 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 and then you get to the point of saying, well, you told me the last thing about, okay, is that the only thing stopping you right now from giving me that opportunity? So you can handle it from that way too. So I'll tell you a quick story. This happened about 2 weeks ago. One of my best agents, who's got more experience than me, she's got 28 years in the business, love her to death. She's an awesome real estate agent. There was a referral opportunity on an $800,000 home locally here in Hillsborough. Okay. I was actually a lead from myself. And so basically, I just wanted to introduce myself to the sellers, because I didn't know them. I knew their friends. And so I brought this agent in with me, and she's basically going to be listing the property. she made her presentation, everything else, and I'm talking to the husband. We're in the kitchen and everything else. And this agent, I mean, like most agents, they're pretty much offering 5% on a consistent basis because they go in at 5 and that's where they stay with it. So, but she also knows that Joe Kozo is a 6% guy. So we're in the kitchen. She's sitting down with the wife, and I'm in the back talking to the husband, leaning on the center island. And the wife goes, "So what's the commission?" She goes, "Well, it's 3% in and 3% out." And the wife goes, "That's 6%." She goes, "Yep." And she goes, "Okay, not a problem." And at that point, I want to get out my pom-poms and do the cheer and everything else. And yay, yay, go get it, you know. So I was so impressed. So I left and she finished out the listing presentation. I called her later. And the first thing she said to me, "So you were surprised I asked for 6%. I said, "You asked for 6%. What did you get?" 6%. As John Carlos said, you can always negotiate. And what a poor negotiator you would be if you go from, right to 5 or 4.5. And that's what happens there too. So creating value, by the way, for you guys in the way you handle this objection early on in your presentation is going to say why you're worth 6%. That's where it's at too. So great job on these first three objections. Great job, guys. So now we're going to go back to Kristen. Kristen, I'm going to go through the one objection. I'm going to handle it. I've never had this objection, so I'm not even sure how to handle this. So again, Kristen, close me.
Okay, terrific. So if you're all set, let's sign these listing documents so that I can get your house sold for you.
Kristen, I really thought about it. You did a great job. I just simply want to price my home higher than the comps are you showing me. I just feel it's worth more in this market, of a seller's market. I just think it's worth more. And I'm sorry, great price and everything else. I just want to price it higher.
I recognize that this is a strong seller's market, and I agree that now is a perfect time to sell your home. However, pricing your home accurately is crucial, and I want to tell you why that is. If a home doesn't sell within the first few weeks in this market, it becomes stigmatized. Buyers oftentimes start questioning, well, why haven't they gotten multiple bids? What's wrong with the house? It also doesn't appear on the top of the searches. It begins to obviously be pushed down, and so you're not getting as much traction. So does that make sense?
It does make sense, but I mean, if I priced it higher, I mean, if it doesn't happen the first 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, we can always come down, right? We can always come down.
It's certainly an option. However, it's not something that I encourage. Another reason being is that we're working with buyer's agents. So I'm representing you on the listing side, but we're marketing the property to each and every real estate agent that has access to the MLSs and then some, right? These buyer agents, when they start doing their due diligence and a client tells them, we're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath within this town, 1-car garage, what they do is they pull properties. They pull properties and say 9 out of 10 of them are all priced within the realm of where the true value lies. But ours is priced $75,000 or $100,000 higher. Oftentimes, these buyer's agents, they just negate that from the search, send over the other 9, and they never even give us the opportunity to get their buyers in to see the house. So losing out on a prospective buyer because of purely price. So another issue is that oftentimes buyer's agents don't think you as a seller are motivated because we're overpriced. I could get into appraisal issues as well, right? Which we could potentially hit, although sometimes overcome in this market. But for me personally, it's not something that I encourage. I actually strongly discourage it because there are many reasons why. It's not as though we can throw spaghetti against the wall and hope it sticks. You're losing traction. That first 2 weeks of any listing, you typically get the most amount of activity and usually generate multiple offers in this current market. So I wouldn't want to lose out on that, would you?
No, I don't want to lose out on an opportunity, Kristen. In the same respect, what it sounds like you're telling me is that the real estate community will see me as being overpriced, and they're probably going to not sell my home or probably go to other properties that are more sellable. Is that pretty accurate?
Correct, exactly. Because shopping comparatives and we're so overpriced, they're going to say, this is a lot of effort, too much work. They're ultimately not going to be able to get, obviously, the number that they want. And therefore, it's a lot of effort on my side to obviously not get success. Why not aim for success, right? Show the properties that are priced accurately, priced within the value of where they lie based upon comparables.
Let me ask this, Kristen. by overpricing the property, would that put me out of the picture for multiple offers, you think?
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you're pricing it high, you're not generating multiple offers. You're getting offers typically under list price, right? Whereas if you're pricing it aggressive, you're pricing it at market, or oftentimes in this market, actually slightly below market, when you're seeing the generation of multiple offers, bidding wars, and you're ending up netting more than if we price it high and the property sits on the market. While it's sitting on the market, because you're going to be moving out, you're paying 2 mortgages, you're paying additional taxes, that all cuts into what you net. So yeah, I believe you're losing out on the bidding wars, the multiple bids, pricing a property, in addition to potentially losing out on the buyer.
Yeah, I know the Joneses down the street sold their home. We thought it was ridiculously low. And what I heard, I haven't spoke to the Joneses. They moved away, of course, but I heard from some of the other neighbors that they got multiple offers and they went over their asking price. And it seemed to be they were able to kind of pick and choose who they wanted for a buyer. By me overpricing it, you're saying I'm not going to have that opportunity.
Correct.
Okay.
And the ability to select the buyer based upon multiple bids is a great thing for you, because your time frame with respect to obviously wanting a quicker close based upon the fact that you're moving out is crucial. Again, it's all about the numbers, and you'll be netting more at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to underprice it, as you mentioned earlier in your conversation, but I'll tell you what, let's go with the price you had spoke, and let's get that multiple bid offers on a table. Let's get this thing to drive it up higher, and let's take it from there. Okay. Let's move forward. Okay.
You got it. I'll make it happen.
Awesome. Great job, Kristen. So there's so many facets to that objection, so many different ways you can go, so many different streets you can go down, and so many different ways you can show them the benefit of pricing it right. I would also encourage you guys to do this. And anytime you talk about things, have something in writing, something physical, something on your laptop you could show them. It's kind of weird how people, they'll hear you speak, but they don't listen to you. But when you show them something, you hand them something, they touch it, you hand them a piece of paper, they touch it, and then they read what you basically had discussed. And it's some validation of what you had just indicated. So I'd encourage you guys to do that too. Pinky, Deepak, would you add anything to that?
I think she just did a phenomenal job. She was very calm, very natural. I just loved it. Everything what she said, I just loved it. Because I'm going to talk today actually for a price adjustment, and I'm going to steal a lot of things what she said. You did a great job, Kristen.
Thank you.
And it's not about stealing, by the way, not KW. It's about sharing.
Yeah, sharing, whatever.
Yeah. Deepak, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I would say what she touched upon was very good. I normally like to do like 3 pricing strategy. I mean, she did mention it, but I would say one thing is like, if you really price higher than the market, then you're, trying to you're looking for a needle in a haystack. And that is really, really hard. If you market it at the market, then you are competing with other people. People are picking and choosing. And if you put it slightly below the market, it really creates a buyer frenzy, and everybody is looking into it. And the people see other people excited about that house, then they are ready to put an offer. They may waive appraisal contingency, waive inspection contingency, and that can put you in a much better position than just, trying to catch up the market.
It's that sense of urgency you create by pricing it accurately or a little bit under the market too, because everybody sees that. All the agents, the real estate community says, wow, that's priced right, that's priced right, that's priced right. Of course, if it's great location, great condition, everything else, but it's all based on price. Then it drives the traffic there to get multiple offers that way too. So great job. John Carlo, would you add anything to that?
Kristen did a great job, just very calm, logical with it. The one thing I like to add, like you mentioned, Deepak, you mentioned this, appraisal waiver and inspection waiver. The best way to do that is to entice the most amount of offers so we can try and drive the terms up that way, because appraisal will come into play. So if we have all these offers to choose from, we have better odds of getting a higher number, even if it won't appraise.
Well, that's true too, because you get a chance to look at multiple offers and pick the best. Not always best on price, best on whatever the terms are in the contract. So that's great. It's an objection that happens pretty frequently because everybody wants more for their home than it's valued at. Because guess what? They put the ceramic tile in the kitchen, and it's worth $50,000 more. So we've all been down that road before. So great job on that one too, Kristen. Great response to that too. So Pinky Deepak, you guys are up for the next objection. So close me. We just finished our listing presentation.
Hey, Joe, you were terrific. Everything makes sense. So let's move ahead with the paperwork and so that I can sell your home ASAP and with top dollars.
I tell you, Pinky Deepak, it's great. You guys seem pretty new at this business. Okay. So I'm a little concerned that I'm hiring somebody that's brand new or newer to the industry. And that's a big concern of mine. I might be looking for more of an experienced agent.
That is a valid concern, Joe. Just to give you a little bit of background, I too have sales background throughout the years. It was just in a different industry. So I bring all that sales knowledge into my profession. I am first year in this business, so I am motivated, excited, and I stay top of all my transactions, top of communication, dealing with inspections, appraisals personally myself. When you work with like big agents, they are handling 50 transactions. So their attention is divided almost, like to a very minimum level. Their, part-time or, transaction coordinators are handling everything. Here you are getting a surgeon himself doing everything from soup to nuts. So you will get the 100% attention. We have 100 agents in our office, and we all collaborate with each other. We try to sell our office listings first. So we have over 100 years of experience, and that is behind me. So it is not just me, it is the whole, our company, our office that will be handling the sale of this, of your home. So would that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense, but my concern is when we get down to negotiating or maybe price and all, because you guys are so new, you don't have the experience. I'm just concerned that something might drop there. And this is a pretty large asset of mine. And I want to make sure that, I get the full opportunity in getting the right person to sell my property. I'm still a little concerned about that, a little concerned.
So pricing strategy, it's a valid point. And it is basically supply and demand. As you can see, our office track record, we have in our office sold list to sale price ratio is almost 99 to 100%, which is 3 to 4%. Even seasoned agents that you see, their sales to price ratio is 95, 96%, whereas our office sales to price ratio is 99, 3 to 4% higher than the average agents. So that is very important for you to know. And we are going to be staying on top of it throughout the communication, I will personally attend the inspections, appraisals, any issues that come up, I would personally be handling it for you. So you get an agent who is doing, everything personally and making sure if there is anything that come up, we will immediately handle it.
Okay. So you're telling me that you have a support staff in your company too that's going to be there. So if I run into a problem that you don't have an answer for, who do you go to for that?
We do have a market center leader. He has additional 25 years of experience in this. You can immediately call him if you have any problem. We will rectify it within 24 hours. And if you are not still for you, so you are not, you're not stuck. You will never feel that you get stuck.
Okay. So is that Joe Cozo? If that's Joe Cozo, I'm signing right now. I'm telling you, I'm signing right now.
It is Joe Cozo. And
so just break script a little bit too. I love the fact that you're doing certain things in there too. It's a conversation that's going to happen to, I'd say, majority of people on this call right now, as one of the questions was too. So, and so I'm going to go to John Carlo. John Carlo, what would you add there when you were brand spanking new in this, which was a few years ago? Mm-hmm. How did you handle this objection that you were able to overcome?
just really speaking with confidence and showing that you do your homework. You know the whole process. You know what's going on in the area. You know what needs to get done every step of the way. So they were mentioning that they're going to be there for every step of the process and whatnot, and having the confidence of going through it and knowing and even sounding like you've been there, even if you haven't, goes a long way. So believing in yourself before they believe in you is very important.
That's extremely important. Extremely important. Kristen, would you like to elaborate off of that?
Yeah, and I think another thing, I think if you continuously hit this objection and you feel like you really can't get the seller around it, right? You don't want to lose the opportunity. So I think the next best thing, again, and this is if you really feel like you're hitting that wall, would be to partner with or ride on the coattails, right, of a seasoned agent. Like, I can give you a prime example. When I first got into this business 11 years ago, my first listing was a $4 million listing, right, in Harding Township. How was that? Well, that was because Jason Abrams was my mentor, and he and I partnered together, right? They were really hiring Jason. Although I was in New Jersey, I was at the forefront. I really was going to be the one hitting the ground running. But again, would I have gotten that listing if it weren't for Jason? Absolutely not. You know, that was my first, and that was what I felt like I needed to do in order to obtain that listing, to get the experience to obviously, you know, pivot myself to where I'm at today. So I think last sort of stitch effort, if you're not overcoming the objection and you really feel as though they're holding back, is to partner with someone who's seasoned, and throw that in there.
That's a good point too. To both what you and Giancarlo said, is confidence makes a difference. Because if you're not confident, and again, you're humna, it doesn't bode well, and then they know that you're new at it and everything else. So it's that practice, you know, it's continuous to practice, role play, script practice, whatever it's going to be. That's going to make a difference in reference to you getting this down right. If you don't have a coach, if somebody's coaching you, let your coach come with you if you have to, or let your coach do this, or make sure that you shadow 2, 3, 4 listing presentations by other agents in your market center. Get a feel for what they do, but practice. Don't let your first opportunity to make a listing presentation and handle objection in front of a live body. We always want live bodies, of course, but a real person, you know, be your first actual one where you never practiced before. So when you get that confidence, you get it by doing time and time again. So that's incredibly important too. So great points on all your sides here too. So
I think I want to say never, Joe, one thing I want to say, never practice, since it is for mostly newer agents, never practice on your clients. That's one thing I heard from many seasoned agents when I was new. So role play is very important. We still do every morning diligently. So role play, it matters what you say. So don't make that mistake of saying anything.
It's great. I mean, you know, when you, as Giancarlo said, if you sound confident, it means you've practiced this many times out too. So great job. All right, Giancarlo, you're up on this too. So let's get to the next objection. You just finished your presentation. Close me.
Okay. So we've finished everything now. Joe, I'm really looking forward to working with you. Here's the paperwork, and let's get everything started.
You know, Giancarlo, that was great. I'm pretty confident in you, but quite frankly, I think we need to find our next home before we can actually get this home on the market. I'm afraid I'm not going to find a home, and I'll have my home sold first. That's a concern.
I definitely respect that. You know, it's definitely a big concern. Obviously, you don't want to end up homeless. You want somewhere where you're going to be. So let's go over kind of the process of how we do it. I'm very familiar with selling a home while looking to buy at the same time. We just kind of went over the market stats for the area, right? And you'd agree that we think we're going to definitely get multiple offers on your home, and it's going to go pretty quick.
Correct.
All right. And, you know, we went over the area that you're going to be looking to go as well, too. And we are aware it's probably going to be similar, right?
Correct. Yes.
So it's going to be kind of difficult for you to start making offers on homes if your home isn't on the market and you're not ready to sell. Does that make sense? Think about it from your perspective. If you're going to list your home and someone wants to make an offer, but they have to sell their home first, are you going to be as inclined to want to go with that offer?
No, I'm not going to want that offer at all. They have to sell a home first. That doesn't work for me.
And I want to set the proper expectation for you, because I can go out and show you homes today, but if the home is on the market today and you want to make an offer on it, but you have to sell your home first, it might be gone by the time you're ready to actually seriously make an offer on that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense, but it's saying I don't want to be homeless. Don't need to be
No,
homeless, Giancarlo.
definitely won't. Best part about having a listing right now in a competitive market, we can dictate a lot of the terms. So I know you said that netting the most is going to be the most important, but there's other things that go along with that. Somebody who has flexibility in closing date, somebody who allows you to stay in the home a little bit longer, maybe through what's called a use and occupancy. There's a lot of different options that we can make sure that you will have your home and transition into a new one without having any gap. If we're able to do that, would that make most sense to you?
Yeah, so I like the options part of that. Let me know what else I could do if it does sell, that we have somewhere to move into or other options too. I like that part of it. I do.
Yeah. So I know it seems a little bit overwhelming at this point, but looking at homes at this point is kind of putting it before everything. Really need to figure out what you're doing on your list price. As you mentioned, you don't want to have two mortgages as well, correct?
Yes, correct. I definitely do not want that.
So we really need to go over getting the home on the market, and then we can start to explore starting to search for it. And at that point, we'll have the ability to go over all the different options we have, and I can assure you that you will not end up without a home one way or another.
Okay. All right. It sold me. Just make sure I'm not homeless. I got 13 kids at home, and I can't be, running around with them, So, so let's not be homeless, Giancarlo. Sound
No
good?
problem. Sounds good.
Let's go. Let's move forward on this.
Sounds good. Good. Looking forward to working with you.
Great. Thank you. Breaking shift again. So, Kristen, these are tough objections. They are real, and they're real. They're real. What would you do differently, if anything?
Honestly, nothing. It sounded like me talking. I mean, it's literally exactly what I throw out. You want to present them with options, but you want to push them forward. That's all genuine facts. And that's all the way that they truthfully should handle it if they want to buy a new home and they want to sell their home. So I wouldn't change a single thing.
Yeah, great job on it too. Great job. I wouldn't either too. So Deepak and Pinky, would you add anything to that?
I would just say that, Mr. Seller, would you have your property under contract? You have a closing date set for your house, and that is what you're telling to the seller whose house you are buying, that you have your offer accepted on your house, you have inspections done, all the contingencies are cleared. So they see you much more ready than anybody else who's just starting to look. And you can use the money from this house to put into new house while, get the house of your dream and move right into it. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah. No, I think that those are great things. As Giancarlo started up saying, is that what's the value of me trying to present an offer on a property if my home's not even on the market, especially since I need to sell my home to take the proceeds from that as well. So I love the fact that you guys threw out options. See, most of the public does not know there are options to things. They just think that they're going to kick me out of my house and sell it, and I'm going to be on the street with my 13 kids. So that's seriously what they think. Options sometimes are temporary housing. Options sometimes are use and occupancy. There are always options out there. As long as you can provide them to your seller client, they'll feel more comfortable that way too. But this happens all the time. I mean, in today's market, hey, it's so easy to sell your home, but it's not as easy to find a home. So that gets to be a little bit of a concern. And I know for a fact, all of you guys have been in that position in the past too. So great job. So Kristen, we're back to you. Okay. So Kristen, close me and let's go from there.
Okay. Terrific. So if we're all set to move forward, here are the listing documents for you to sign so that I can work on getting everything going, and we'll get your house sold for you.
Okay. That was, I really appreciate that too, Kristen. It was everything that we want to hear. We heard. I just a couple concerns of mine. First of all, I really want to be home when I show the property. I feel uncomfortable with strangers coming to my home, and I really don't want a sign or a lockbox there. I want to have somebody have access to my home, and I don't want my neighbors to see I'm selling my home. That's a concern. I mean, this neighborhood, they talk. So that's a little concern of mine. What can we do to overcome that?
Well, I can appreciate that. However, the seller being home when we're showing properties is something that I really am opposed to. And let me kind of go into it a little further and explain to you why. When a buyer is walking into a house, it's all about the feeling that buyer gets. You want that buyer to be comfortable, be able to roam through the house and not feel as though someone's kind of watching their every move. Obviously their agent is with them or myself, but you want them to have a comfortable feeling. And again, with a seller there, they oftentimes feel as though they can't open up, they can't speak openly. They don't want to open a closet or a cabinet because they're, infringing upon obviously your privacy. Whereas when sellers aren't present, they feel as though they can kind of freely, roam around the home, get a feel for the home to determine whether or not it's the right home for them. Oftentimes, what's important to a seller is not important to a buyer. So, when you get in your mind what's crucial to you and the most important things about your home, and if you begin wanting to sort of talk about those points to the buyer, we could lose that buyer altogether because, again, we're not speaking the same language. You haven't qualified that buyer, you haven't developed a relationship with that buyer. So I really strongly discourage my clients from being home during showings.
Okay. So, but I mean, nobody knows the home better than I do, Kristen. I mean, I could tell them about the ceramic tile and the 12.5-inch custom made Italian blah, blah, blah that I put in. I mean, I want to make sure they understand the value of that.
Absolutely. And that's my job. So you've educated me on all of the specifics and the particulars about your house. And it is my job, as I'm walking through with the buyers, to determine and assess what's important to them first and foremost. And then at that point, sell on the points of the home that relate to what they're looking for.
Okay. So it's your responsibility to convey my tile and everything else to that buyer's agent and all too. So if you tell me not to be home, and that means I have to have a lockbox there, I'm a little concerned about the safety and security of a lockbox.
I can completely understand why you'd be concerned about that. I'm hoping that by me sort of breaking down how our lockboxes work and giving you sort of a further explanation, that might ease your mind. So let's hope. So let me tell you a little bit about how our super lockboxes work.
Okay.
First and foremost, only licensed active real estate agents can access those lockboxes. With that being said, the way that I work in particular is that I require every single licensed real estate agent to first call me and speak to me on the phone prior to ever scheduling a showing. Therefore, they're not able to access the lockbox until you and I have spoke and you've given me authority to confirm that appointment, say showing for tomorrow at 5 p.m. And more importantly than all of that, I actually have control over that lockbox. So if you say to me, Kristen, for the next 3 days, I don't want anybody in the house, no showings whatsoever, I can literally shut off the access so no one can use that lockbox. But again, going back to it, no one's going to use that lockbox unless I've authorized them. And I wouldn't authorize them unless you give me permission to do so. So the lockbox is really highly monitored. It's not a combination lockbox. Once you give it out to one person, everybody has it. I don't use those for that reason and that reason alone.
So you're telling me that all showings go through you first and then you get my approval and then that's okay. So if I happen to be having a birthday party for one of my kids, I just tell you, Kristen, it's not going to work today. You're okay with that?
Completely. And look, you and I, you'll see as we're working together, obviously in this process, we will have constant communication. So anything that's going on and you're not wanting to show a property on one day or a few hours or during your dinner time, you and I obviously can sort of set that tone from the beginning. And then as things come up, you just letting me know, I convey that and make sure that obviously you're not inconvenienced in any way outside of the ordinary.
That would be acceptable. Let's get to the sign part of that. We got Betty Busybody that's in our neighborhood and she knows everything and she'll tell everything. Having that sign out there is just going to give fuel to Betty Busybody. I
hear ya. There are a lot of Betty Busybodies out there and I understand where you're coming from. However, Betty Busybody might have a friend who's trying to move out of Brooklyn right now who loves where Betty lives and has wanted to buy a house on Betty Street for the last year, but nothing's come up, right? So quite frankly, I want Betty, I know you may not, but I want Betty to know that your house is going on the market. And I want Betty to talk about your house to all of her friends and all of her family. I want Betty to talk about it with her in-laws if she has a little one and she wants her mother-in-law to move in next door. So we actually want that sort of that ability to have the neighbors and the individual's talking about it. And outside of the neighbors, signage calls are crucial. If someone's driven by your house and didn't realize it was on the market and said, oh, I didn't see it on Zillow, or my realtor didn't send me that listing, but I love the exterior and I love this location, let's call the agent. We truly get phone calls based upon signage, and those calls are calls directly related to your house because they've already driven by them. So I'm a huge promoter of signs, and those are the reasons why. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like by not having a sign, I'm cutting marketing out. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, and potentially losing your buyer.
Yeah. Okay. And by not having a lockbox showing myself might be creating a problem for that potential buyer.
Correct.
All right. Let's do this. Let's do this, Kristen. Okay.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Great job. Great job. So, Pinky Deepak, anything
I think I
you add
really
to that?
loved the way she handled the nosy neighbor to a positive part, showing the seller the positive part of it. So she really subdued that objection, and also the communication part that, you know, that I will be very communicative of any showings through the Supra lockbox. So I really love the way you handled everything. He constantly gave you 3 objections, like the Supra, the nosy neighbor, and all the, like, you know, that I want to show the unique parts of the unique features. So you told that, you know, oh wow, you know, no, you are hiring me, so it's my job. So I really love these 3 elements of your script. So I really love that. Thanks.
Yeah, me as a seller, I'm getting in my own way. I'm literally getting in my own way. It's your job to make sure that I don't get in my own way, and we get the full exposure on that too. So awesome. John Carlo, would you add anything to that?
No, I think Kristen did a great job. She kind of let you come to your own conclusion on why it's best for you kind of just stay out of the way and let the real estate agents do what they do.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. And I'm trying to be easy with you guys too, just an FYI. I could get really difficult, but that wouldn't serve any purpose here. Although people do get difficult that way too. So great job. I would handle it the same way. You took my concern, you addressed it with fact. You did a fact bridge benefit. That's what you did. You gave me the fact. You want to know that, but the fact of putting a sign up now, it increases the exposure, increases the opportunity for me to get my home sold. And Betty Busybody can go and tell everybody about it, because Betty Busybody is now marketing for us. So awesome point out too. So great job. All right, Pinky Deepak, you guys are up. Okay, let's go. Let's take this one here. Go ahead, close me.
Okay. Hey, Joe, thank you so much for the opportunity. Let's move forward and get your home on the market ASAP and get it sold.
Okay, I appreciate that too. But hey, let me ask you, and will you guys cut your commission? Because the other agents said they would.
Joe, is the brokerage fees the only thing that's stopping you to list with us tonight?
It's pretty much that, yes. Pretty much
Oh,
that.
great. Okay, so can I show you one thing that if I can explain you that if I can put you more money in your pocket, will you give us the opportunity tonight?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, great. So Joe, on an average agent in our market area, net you, their list to sales price ratio is 96%. However, our list to sales price, average is 100%. So we are already netting you 4% more in your pocket. So are you more interested? What is more important to you? Does saving 1% is more important to you, or gaining 4% is more important to you?
Well, it's about putting as much money in my pocket as possible, Pinky.
Exactly. That's what we are here for. And Joe, there's a saying in our real estate that discount commission equals to discount services, and that results in discount sales price. Is it something what you're looking for?
Yes. Talk to me about that.
Joe, look, there are so many desperate agents out there. I'm just a little concerned about that. If they're so willing to cut out their commission like that, so I'm really concerned that what they're going to do at the negotiating table while they're representing you and the final sales price. Is that something that you're looking for?
That difference is 2% commission. They were just, they were coming right out of the gate and telling me they could do it for 3%, so, I mean, you're telling me 5, 6, so I'm a little concerned. That's a big number. It's a big number.
Yes, it is a big number, and it's big number in your own favor, because if the agent cannot even negotiate for themselves at the closing table, how would they negotiate your money? If they are letting it go like their own money, which is much smaller percentage than your house value. Imagine if they let go of 3% of your home value. That is almost like $15,000 or $20,000. And here we are talking about like $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. It's pretty simple too. It's just a simple math thing. You know, I don't know. You know, they don't know how many homes they sell, but still, I mean, coming in at that low price, I mean, I still have a hard time with this. I'm struggling with that. But you tell me you can tell me you can put more money in my pocket, even though you're going to be charging more.
And that's why I showed you all my track record that, you know, with all my track record over so many 15 years plus, you know, I have sold homes constantly over an average of 100% sales list to sales price ratio. So that shows that, you know, I'm constantly putting more money into seller's pocket as compared to the average other agents. Okay. And that's what you're looking for, right?
Let's do this. Let's sign. Let's move forward. Okay.
That's great, Joe. Thanks.
Okay. And this goes to the question that John Carlo had earlier too. It's really about what you net in your pocket and how you handle it and create the value for what you do to offer that extra commission. Because I think that's what the key thing is. In absence of value, the only thing you give up is your commission. That's the only thing you give up. And there's a lot of agents there too. So John Carlo, would you add to that?
I think they did a good job of showing they have more value than, you know, the discount brokerages that are out there. Just to add to it, stuff that I normally would add is my marketing services. I go over my professional photography, the 3D tours, the ad syndications that I automatically run. I tell them that it's a partnership from the start, and I'm vested into it financially before I even see a return to maximize exposure for them.
All right. Great way to put it too. So Kristen?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I think they did great. The only thing I would add to it is the same thing, just kind of hitting home with all of the commitments that you're bringing to the table with respect to the investments from you as their realtor.
Yeah. One of the things I used to do, guys, is I used to break down, it's kind of a little Excel spreadsheet. I put all my marketing on a left column. Okay. It'd be 25, 30, 40 things, whatever it might be. On the very bottom was 5 or 6 things that were more creative about what I do to market properties than the average real estate agent. Then I put company ABC, and I'd put KW, I'd put or myself, I'd put ABC, I'd put GRF and XYZ and all those companies there. Each would have a box. And of course, everybody lists their property and they put a multiple listing system. Everybody puts a lockbox. Everybody puts a sign on it. Check everybody across the board. And as you get down the list, you pretty much know who does what. The discount broker doesn't do half that stuff, you know. And then I would show them the list. I'd ask them and say, listen, out of these 30 items here, which one do you think is going to make a difference in getting your home sold? And for the most part, it's, I don't know, this one. And I respond this way. You know, I don't know either. But doesn't it make sense to use the guy that's doing everything as opposed to the guys that's using some of it? Okay. And that would just be a little close I used to use that way too. And it'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, okay, great. That's to what John Carlo's point would be. That's all part of the marketing of this as well. So great job. And that's going to come up time and time again on handling objections too. So John Carlo, let's go to your next question on this too.
Okay.
All right, close me here.
Joe, thanks for meeting with me and going over everything. Definitely looking forward to working with you. Here's the paperwork. Let's go over the next steps, get it signed, and get you on the market.
You know, John Carlo, I appreciate that. Did a great job. Quite frankly, I really want to hear what the other agents have to say before I make a commitment to list with you.
Sure. I can definitely respect that. And part of what I do is being transparent with everybody I work with, and I hope the same for you. Yeah. So what I want to be able to go over with you is there anything in my marketing plan that you felt might be a concern for you?
No, you're pretty darn complete, to be honest with you.
All right, great. And is there any disagreement with where I said the price is going to be on your home?
No, we kind of expected that too. It's not a new number to us. So we're pretty comfortable with that number.
Okay. So like I said before, I would really appreciate it. Honesty amongst each other. If we're going to work together, we kind of have to form a team and do that. Is there anything holding you back that is making you say you want to maybe meet with other agents?
You know, honestly, I don't know, because I don't know what they have to offer because I haven't met with them.
Okay. So if you feel that the price is in line with what I said, my marketing plan is top notch, I feel, why don't we move forward instead of wasting your time meeting with other people if you think the price is at the top end of what you're going to get anyway?
I don't think I'm wasting my time, but there might be something I just don't know. I don't sell a home every day, John Carlo. And, you know, if there's that one thing that makes a difference, and that's what I want to hear. Do they have it or not? And
Okay.
and I'm sure you understand the value of me talking to other people. It's like, anything else, I want to get 2 or 3 opinions on it, and that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Totally respect that and understand. Is there anything in the marketing plan that maybe wasn't clear to you? Is there anything that you were looking for that wasn't possibly there?
No, as I said earlier, pretty much everything that you had indicated is more than we expected,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where we're looking at.
Okay. So you agree that everything is possibly there and we're at the price that you want it to be at for the most part. Obviously don't want to be pushy and want you to explore your options and be comfortable working with me. But is there anything else that you're expecting to hear that's going to get you more than what we went over?
No, like I said, I don't know what the other expectations would be. I mean, quite frankly, you were telling me things, like I said, I didn't know before, which is great. I might hear from company A and company B some other things that I didn't expect to hear from them either. And I also want to get a feel for their track record. And yours is impeccable. There's no question about that. And so I just want to really explore those options if possible.
Okay. I mean, I totally respect that. Understand. I want you to be able to come back to me and answer any questions that I can for you. So if there are any other questions you have at the moment.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Sounds good. And if you wouldn't mind, I would just love the opportunity to meet with you one last time to go over anything that you might have went over, any other concerns you might have, and show you why I'd be the best person to list your home.
If there was any questions I had, something I heard from the other two that I've not heard from you, I will definitely make a call to you and see how you would, take that marketing into play. I'm
Okay. I appreciate that.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. So breaking script a little bit, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay.
And
so good, John.
Just to say, with that, I kind of feel you have to, if somebody has it set in their head, no matter what you're going to say, you already said that you think my price is top of the line, you think the marketing was good. You have to be careful with pushing people too much sometimes because you might turn them off as being too pushy and salesy.
Correct. Absolutely too. So, what I find too, well, let me go to Kristen. Kristen, what would you do differently with this?
Yeah, nothing. I can't agree more. There's a limit, and if they have it in their mind and that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. So I think by him honing in on the fact that he's hitting the mark with all of the crucial elements that a seller would obviously need to make a decision, and he reiterates that and then sums it up with basically, don't let me lose out on this opportunity. If you meet with somebody else and you hear something else, please come back to me first. That's all you can do at that point because you can't force the situation. So,
Right.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because you start pushing people away by getting too aggressive.
Yeah.
So I'll address that in a second. Pinky and Deepak, would you add anything to that?
I would not add anything. I think John, covered, like he covered marketing, his strategy, pricing strategy, exposure, and they were still not ready. If I would get a chance, I would say, okay, if you feel comfortable, we can do a pre-marketing activities, for a week. So you don't lose the opportunity. We can start showing the house after 1 week. So you still have the time to interview them. If you give us an opportunity right now, we can still start marketing it. And if we are the right guys, we will start after 1 week. If we can do anything to earn your business, let us know after you interview them. But I would still probably post-date the document if I see fit. Otherwise, I'll not push.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. So many factors in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough objection. But here's what I'll tell you. A couple of things on my part. From my standpoint, I would always ask the question prior to going to listing appointment, are you meeting with other real estate agents? Now, a lot of agents won't ask that question because guess what? They're afraid of the answer. But to be honest with you guys, the answer is the answer. Yes or no, they are. And sometimes they'll say, well, should I? No, you're going to have the best person right here. And if you feel after meeting with me, you need to meet with other people, then by all means. So, but if they also say to me, yes, we do plan on meeting with people, my next question is, awesome. When do you plan on meeting with them? Well, I'm meeting CB at Tuesday and I'm meeting Weichert on Wednesday. Hey, awesome. I'm available on Thursday. Okay. Unless I know their top 2 agents, top 2 key people at CB and Weichert that are great closers, then I might want to go first. and be the best damn closer because they had nothing to lose. But if they were just marginal, which are most agents are marginal, I might simply say to the point of, hey, great, I'm available on Thursday. Just promise me this. You'll give me the full opportunity to present my whole marketing plan to you and advantage of working with myself and my company. Okay. That would help solve that objection before you get to that. Okay. If you get to the table like here, John Carlo and I, we didn't go through that session, but if you get to the table right now, I would then ask the question, if you get the objection, hey, awesome, when do you plan on meeting with the other two companies? Great. I'm going to meet them with on Friday and Saturday. Great. So you have a decision made by Saturday afternoon. Does that sound pretty accurate? Yes, it is. Great. So great. So I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you. If there's something else, and Giancarlo went to this, something else that I missed in my presentation, or something else someone else presents, please give me the opportunity to come back. Are you okay with that? Okay. Sometimes what I've done in the past too is that if I know that I got stuck here, I didn't ask the right questions, I'd simply go to the point and say, you know, hey, great. If you think I'm the best person, you got the best marketing plan, right price, and everything else, I'm great. You're just not sure about the other people. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do the paperwork now? You could hold the paperwork. Now, if you're doing paperwork manually, you can hold the paperwork, but you could hold the paperwork, meet with the other two people on Friday and Saturday. Saturday, give me an afternoon. Love to pick up the paperwork and move things forward. Does that sound good? Okay. So you're kind of not getting a full commitment, but you're getting a partial commitment. See, sometimes by them agreeing to and signing things, they're at the point of saying, you know what, I'm already committed to Giancarlo. So that's an approach I've taken. It's worked for me sometimes. Other times it's not worked for me. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? That's my approach too. So I got about 3 minutes left. So I'm going to do this. There was one question that popped into. There was a couple questions come in. One of them is an objection regarding COVID-19. So I'm going to ask you guys, just give me a 30-second blurb on what would you do if the objection from a seller is, showing a home with COVID-19 issues that we have out there. So Kristen, you want to address that first?
Yeah, absolutely. I can completely understand and I appreciate the concern that you have. However, believe it or not, COVID has created a very, very, very strong seller's market based upon the fact that there's a multitude of buyers moving out of New York City and Weehawken and West New York and Hoboken and Jersey City and Queens and so on and so forth. And they're moving to your area. So, with respect to safeguards, we as real estate agents have to follow protocol, and I make sure to follow proper protocol with respect to all steps and all aspects. And we start by making sure that any showings, all buyers and buyers agents are required to sign a COVID form, confirming that they in fact don't have COVID, don't have a fever, so on and so forth. After that, any showings are limited to a certain amount of people in the house at a time, family members alone, and real estate agent. Masks are required at all times. Booties are required, or shoe removal, depending on the property. And you can certainly let me know what your preference is, and I would dictate that to them as well. And then lastly, what we really try to do is we try to encourage the real estate agent to be the one opening and closing doors or turning on lights if they're not already left on. And the buyers are just kind of following through. So they're not really touching things. So we really do follow proper protocol. And the reason I would push it is just because this has created a really strong seller's market. And there's an influx of buyers and we don't want to lose out.
Great. Pinky, Deepak, anything you want to add to that?
I think she covered everything. We do the same thing, like we cover and make them feel easy that what are the CDC protocols that we use during the showings and also during the open houses. And I also I add one that we use the touchless protocol. We have a QR code that I use. So anybody who's coming in, instead of handling over the papers, like the, whatever the preference is, I ask them, what are you okay with the paper, like putting my feature sheets and MLS sheets? If they're okay, that's fine. However, I also do have the touchless QR code that if they scan the QR code, they have all the information about the listing, the features and everything, the school information directly emailed to their inbox. So I usually also add them. So that makes them feel a little more comfortable, besides adding all the sanitizer, gloves, blah, blah, blah,
Good. Giancarlo?
I think everybody hit on it perfectly. It's kind of walking that fine line of making sure that the seller feels safe and secure, but also showing them the benefit because of what the market's doing right now, that they are going to get a lot of exposure on their home for the people that are influxing their way to our markets. But at the same time, just making sure they are comfortable. It's a real thing. Not everybody has the same comfort level. Some people might have underlying conditions they're worried about. So the best we could do is go over the guidelines of what we're doing to remain safe, and hopefully they're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think that's the key, really having a plan in place. What's the process procedure in your market center? What's the protocol in your market center? That's going to make a huge difference too. And then really just tell them confidently, here's how we're going to handle that. It's like everything else too. So, so that's great. So we're at the end of our time. So here's what I like to do is I'd like to ask each one of you guys. We're going to start with Giancarlo to talk a little bit about just mention about anything that you can offer advice to the people, the audience on this Zoom session here.
If I would give any piece of advice, it'd just be consistent in everything that you do. Everybody in my office knows they'll find me in my office every morning, usually 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm rehearsing, practice what I'm doing, and then I'm getting on the phone, and you're going to hear no. You just have to be tough-minded, get through it, keep going through the process, and put the work in and grow that confidence. And as you do that, you'll start to see the results. It's just the consistency and the confidence to keep doing it.
Great, great. Pinky, Deepak?
I would say that just be natural. When we were new, I was like, of course, it's nerve-wracking to get objections, but getting the objections is a good thing. It shows that they're interested in you. If they're having a questions and they're asking the questions, they're throwing the objections, means that they're interested in you. If they're not giving you any questions, means that it's a no. So unless you did a very fantastic job, like I have been to listing presentation that they, oh yeah, you are great, and we sign up, which I hardly had. So if they're asking a lot of questions, it's a great thing. And somebody asked on this panel, like just had a question, have you ever had to walk away? Yes, we had. It's not only that they are interviewing you, we are also interviewing them. It has to be a great fit between both the parties. We both are interviewing. Don't be afraid to say no to a listing presentation. To a listing. It has to be a great fit. Yes. Thank you.
That goes to one of the questions here. It said, have you ever had to walk away from a listing? And the comment is, yes. I'd rather turn you down than let you down. So, and that's a yes on your part too. So, yeah. Kristen, you want to finish off here and maybe answer that question? Would you walk away from a listing?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I think there are many situations that I've incurred personally where, yeah, if someone's not committed to me, I'm not committing to them. It's that simple. I've learned the hard way. Look, everyone's shaped by their past experiences. In my past, I've provided extraordinary levels of service without agreements, without commitments to some very demanding clients. And I have now learned at this point in my life that I only commit to people that commit to me. So yeah, if someone's not willing to commit to me and give me what I need, whether it's a 6-month listing agreement or the 6% commission, then we're certainly just not a good fit. And I value myself, my skills, and my time enough to be able to walk away.
Yeah, great. Great. So listen, I want to thank you all. I mean, Kristen, Deepak, Pinky, Giancarlo, you guys have been great. I mean, you handle these objections like I want to list my home with you. I just bought it 2 weeks ago, so I'm not selling it. Just an FYI, I'm knocking on my door.
Okay, are you sure it's a good market?
Yeah, it is good market.
Market's went up a lot the past 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
So listen, I want to thank you guys. Did an awesome job. I'm looking at the chat sessions and some of the comments here. They're just nothing but positive. So I want to thank all of you guys, all 4 of you guys, for being in a session. This has been recorded. It's going to go on to the YouTube channel. I would highly encourage everybody get this, download it, save it, use it, practice it, listen to it several times. I think you'll find some huge advantages when you guys go on listing appointments too. So I want to thank you all for that. And I'm saying goodbye to you guys. We're going to bring Sean Tierney on real quick. And Sean, if you get your video up here, and Sean's going to raffle off the, Sean. So Sean, do you want to say any last comments? And if you want to tell us who the winner of the free home inspection would be.
Absolutely, Joe. First, I'd like to say thanks for allowing me to be a part of this today. Even though I interact with realtors every day, it's not a regular occurrence where I'm able to hear this side of your business. So this was a very good opportunity for me to learn what you guys go through with attaining your clients and being able to close them. At random, I chose Ashley Boyle for the free home inspection, which includes radon and termite. So anything that I could do, Ashley, to help you and your clients, please reach out to me. I'm here.
Awesome. So in the chat is Sean's information. So please, I would highly encourage you guys to give Sean a call, use him, refer him out to your clients. That's awesome. And Ashley, congratulations for that. So Sean, you'll be in touch with Ashley in reference to getting all the details worked out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, good, good. Listen, I want to thank everyone for being on this session. We had, I think, close to 100 people on the session. This was phenomenal. Great objections. Kristen, Deepak, Pinky, Giancarlo did a superb job in answering these, handling these objections. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I know I did. And again, I think this is a great session. Also want to encourage you guys on Monday. Monday's session is with Stephen Gendel. He's our regional tech director. He's doing a session now on Monday at 11 o'clock. Please be on that. He's got some great things about KW Command that you guys can learn and take to advantage as well. I also want to thank the rest of the team that's been doing this. They've been phenomenal, especially India Webster. She's heading up this whole thing and doing a phenomenal job here too. So guys, in the meantime, have an awesome day, an awesome weekend. Keep moving forward, and I wish you guys the best into the fall market. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.